Hey, it's Brock here with Rock Hill Farms, and I've got a new firewood bundler here that I'm excited to try out. Now, when I got my new log splitter, I talked about the fact that I was very intentional in choosing that log splitter, and part of the reason was I knew I wanted to try doing bundled firewood to see if I can make what I do a little bit more profitable. So as soon as the splitter got here, I started shopping for bundlers, and there's a lot of options out there. I would say probably 2/3 of all the bundlers I looked at were electric with a foot pedal. And I decided to go with a manual bundler because it feels more applicable to you guys. And I will say, as I always make a full disclaimer, they sent this to me to use. I didn't buy it. But the reason I went with this one, when I actually had offers for some more expensive electric bundlers, is I was thinking to myself, what would I buy if I was trying to make money with firewood? And I would say the average cost for a firewood bundler is between $2,500 and $3,500. This one right here is $895. And starting out with firewood bundles, I don't know how much of a market I'm going to have to sell them, and how long it's going to take to produce them, and what my routine is going to be like. Will I be working in this building? Will I be working down in the wood yard? Will I be working inside in my shop? Will I have access to electricity? And to me, for the average guy starting out to say, I think I want to try selling bundles, I don't know if a $3,000 investment makes sense or not. So I started with the least expensive version I could find. This is Amish built. It's woodwrapper.com, and it's the Amish Firewood Bundler. I always like the story of the small business, and that's what we have here. So I want to get to wrapping bundles as quick as possible, but first thing I guess I should tell you is that there was basically no setup on this. Most of the videos I watched about this exact product show taking it out of the box and bolting it together. I skipped that because I feel like it's a waste of time. If you want to see it, there's plenty of videos like that out there. But it came in 3 pieces. You have a base, you have a rear legs, and you have a top. You set the base on the ground, you set the legs in it, 2 bolts. Set the top on, 2 bolts. And then you put this handle right here on, which is 1 nut. And then you've got a nut right here that you take off to put your wrap on. Now that part might actually be worth showing you how that works. I'm in kind of a lucky situation because the only ongoing cost of bundles is your stretch film, which ends up being really cheap per bundle. And then labels, if you do labels. And I think I've got probably 50 rolls or more of this wrap because I used to buy it by the pallet and I still had a half a pallet of wrap left. So what we've got here is this nylon block with some little brake pads on it that slide up against a stop here. And the nylon pad on each end fits inside of your roll. So we just take a 12-inch long roll of plastic wrap, slide it on here. I don't know if it matters if it comes off the top or bottom, but I think I saw people having it roll off the top, so we'll do that. So I shove that up in there, then I put the other one on, and then we've got a flat washer, and then a spring. Then the last washer is kind of keyed to the shape of the shaft, and then we twist the nut on. Then you run this nut down until you have the right amount of tension on your roll. Like right now it's pulling really easy. I probably need to, I don't know if I can turn this by hand far enough. I'll probably have to get a wrench. So the videos I watched basically said, tighten this up till it feels like it's hard to turn, then make some bundles and see how tight your bundles are and go from there. So if you're wondering why I grabbed this pipe wrench, it's because I'm hoping I can annoy some people who care what kind of wrench I use. And we're not putting any real pressure on. This is barely past hand tight, is all this is ever going to be. That feels fairly tight. I apologize in advance for the long introduction. First video with a new product usually is a lot of talking. And then it's a matter of figuring out a routine that actually works. Okay, so here is our first firewood bundle. Feels like it's wrapped good and tight, where the pieces are not trying to fall out when I hold it up. Now, if we look at the end of this, I think that's a pretty decent size for the pieces within a bundle. I think the bundle is a little bigger than what I see for sale at the gas stations locally. I'm almost sure the ones that I see for $7 to $8 are smaller than this. And I think the mindset there is that if people have a general idea what a bundle of firewood costs, let's make ours just a little bit smaller and be more profitable. I think I'm going to make the bigger bundles. Biggest thing that I learned from making one bundle is the wood you choose to make your bundles out of really matters. If you have funky shaped pieces from twisted wood, that's not good bundle wood. It's not going to stack neatly in this little stacking tray. So I think when I split firewood, I need to designate that this tote right here is for bundle wood. It's all oak. It's all straight and nice sized pieces. I'm going to let it age before I bundle it, rather than just grabbing a random tote that might have a mix of different types of wood in it. So that's the first lesson learned on making bundles. The way you just saw me make that bundle is the way 90% of the time people will make bundles. Grab the wood, set it in there, and wrap it. You also have this option right here, which to me seems like an ideal option for a two-man operation. So let me show you how this would work if you had two people and you wanted to see how fast you could make bundles. If you were actually using this, you would want to have a little table or a flat spot to put it. But we can take this tray and stack it full of wood, exactly like we were just doing. If I had my son out here, he could fill this tray while I'm wrapping a bundle. Then I take the bundle out of the wrapper, set it into the tote, and I grab the tray and set my wood in like this, hand the tray back to the helper, and now I'm wrapping the bundle while he's filling that. And we have another bundle. In case you're not familiar with the bundling idea and why people want to do it, I'll give you the quick answer, is that tote of firewood is worth about $65 where I live, and it can probably make about 40 bundles out of that one tote. The bundles are worth about $6. So in theory, you can turn $65 of wood into $240 of wood in about an hour. Now I'm going to do my own time test, but from other people, it looks like about an hour, and I can make that wood worth 4 times as much, and in that, according to those numbers, I'd be making like $180 per hour bundling this wood. Now, in my experience, as a small business owner trying to have this type of business, it never works out nearly as good as it sounds, because I don't just have time in making the bundles. I have to find partners to give me locations to sell the bundles. I've got to do the shrink wrap. I've got to make labels and put the labels in the bundles. And then I've got fuel cost for delivering the wood. And there's a lot of other things that go into it. But as far as actually wrapping it, you can turn a little bit of value into a lot of value in a short period of time, which is the winning formula for business. So my first goal was find out if I can make bundles in a reasonable time period. The next challenge will be find out if I have a market locally to sell those bundles. Let's pop out a couple more real quick. That is 5 wraps around that. People are estimating that using 5 wraps at a normal cost for the wrap, you're going to have about 17 cents per bundle in wrap. Isn't a whole lot. As I often try to accomplish with any company that provides me with a product, I try to see if they'll give a value to the viewer of my videos. And what they are offering with this is if you buy one of these bundlers and use my code, you can get a free roll of the shrink wrap. A roll of shrink wrap is $20. So it's a nice little bonus. I'll put the link to the product and the discount code in the description of the video. All right, so today was an introduction to bundling wood, and the next time I use this thing, it's going to be about getting some production out on that bundled wood, and I'm not going to use this tote, which is not the perfect choice of wood for bundling. So anyway, I appreciate you guys taking time to watch this video. I'll put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.